Welcome, everybody. Tonight, your neighborhood good Gulf dealer joins the Gulf Oil Companies in presenting another program in this series of reviews, musical comedies, and dramatic shows. Written, directed, and acted by the greatest names in Hollywood for the benefit of the Motion Picture Relief Fund. Tonight, it's a review written by Duke Atterbury and directed by Busby Berkeley. So welcome all of you to the Motion Picture Star's own program. Welcome to the Gulf Screen Guild Show. With Bob Burns and Warren Heimer, Polly Moran and George Raft, Virginia Farrell and the Bryan sisters, the music of Oscar Bradley, and Hollywood's favorite master of ceremonies, George Murphy.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Gulf Screen Guild Show. We're going to start the show today with one of my closest friends, a fellow that I've admired for some time. Here he comes now. I want you to meet George Murphy. Oh, that's enough. Thank you very much, George, and thank you, fellas, and thanks for that nice introduction. Oh, that's all right, Murph. What are you going to do for us? Well, if Oscar will help me out, I'd like to sing All God's Children Got Rhythm. All God's children got rhythm. All God's children got swing. Maybe haven't got money, maybe haven't got shoes, but all God's children got rhythm for to drive away their blues. All God's children got trouble. Trouble don't mean a thing. When they start to go ho-ho-ho-de-do, trouble's bound to go away. Say, all God's children got swing. Chillin', listen to me. This is my philosophy. To see me through the day. To scare my cares away. That's what's known as the sound of A. Now you turn to the leader and he starts to play. And that is the hymn for the judgment day. All God's children got rhythm. All God's children got swing. Maybe haven't got money, maybe haven't got shoes, but all God's children got rhythm for to chase away their blues away. Yes, all God's children got trouble. Trouble don't mean a thing. When they start to go ho-ho-ho-de-do, trouble's bound to go away. All God's children got swing. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you, Oscar Bradley. I couldn't have done it without you.
Oh, George.
It's George Raft.
Look, George, I don't want to start anything, but I heard we were going to do a sketch later in the program. I don't have to play a gangster, do I?
You mean one of those awful gangsters? No, nothing like that. But what's the matter, Butch? You getting gun-shy?
Oh, it's not that, but just being a gangster all the time has kind of got me. Why, the other night I was dreaming that 10 mugs were after me. I fought them tooth and nail, but they finally got me cornered. There I was with my back to the wall with 10 guns pointing straight at me.
Oh, that was terrible, George. Why didn't you wake up?
What, let those mugs think I was a coward?
Well, I think I see what you mean, George, but you won't have to worry about that in our sketch. There's not a gangster within gunshot.
Oh, that's swell, George. You know, my dramatic coach will be glad to hear that.
Your dramatic coach?
Yeah, I hired a tutor to instruct me in the drama. He's right outside. Oh, Professor Heimer.
Wait a minute. Professor Heimer?
Yeah, Warren Heimer. Oh, Professor, I'd like you to meet George Murphy.
Charmed, I'm sure.
How do you do, Professor? So, you were George Raft's tutor, eh?
Yeah, them screwballs at the studio was making a slug-nutty bum out of him. So he called me in on the job to line out some of the finer points of histrionicism.
Well, you sound like just the man.
Yes, right now he's teaching me Shakespeare.
Tut. Not teaching, it's teaching. Let me hear them pear-shaped tones.
Okay. Teaching. As I was saying, he's teaching me Shakespeare in pantomime.
Yeah, pantomime. Now, there's a guy who can really write.
Now, wait a minute. Don't you know that pantomime is acting?
No kidding. I thought he was dead.
No, George. Pantomime is acting without saying anything.
Lost his voice, huh? Poor old guy.
Never mind. Skip it.
Yeah, you can't argue with Hymer. He told the studio off this morning. They wanted me to play an Italian gangster, but he said no.
So what do you think they said? All right, we'll make him a thespian. So I said no again.
Yes, sir. They couldn't fool him just by changing the nationality.
A very wise man. You sure picked yourself a coach, George.
Hey, George, let's give him a hunk of Romeo and Juliet.
Okay. Professor Hymer wrote a special short version of Romeo and Juliet. And take it from me, it's got everything that Shakespeare's had.
Okay, George, let's go.
Okay.
I'm Juliet.
Mm-hmm.
Romeo? Oh, Romeo, where are you, kid?
I'm Romeo. Should I speak now or stand here and catch my death of cold? Oh, hello, Juliet. What are you doing out on the balcony at this time of night?
Waiting for you, you dope. Shimmy up the trellis and we'll pitch a little woo.
Okay. Here I come. Here I am, honey.
Now, I'm Juliet's old man.
Now, wait a minute. I'm the old man.
I said I'm the old man.
Now, listen, you.
What?
Look, you're the old man.
Okay. What are you doing out there with my daughter? Hey, what are you doing out there with my daughter? Then why don't you answer me?
Oh, I'm mad and I don't want to play.
Oh, come on. Will you play if I let you be the old man?
Yes.
Okay. You're the old man.
It's about time, you big palooka.
Oh, yeah, I got a good mind to slug you.
Wait a minute. You would hit an old man, would you?
Oh, all right. Get on with the play or I won't learn you nothing no more.
Okay. I'm Juliet's old man. What are you doing out there with my daughter?
I'm Juliet. Nothing, Father. We're looking at the moon.
No Montague is going around with my daughter. I'll shoot the both of you.
No.
Take this.
I'm Romeo. You got me.
I'm Juliet. Me too. I mean, me too. Hello? I'll get it, George. Hello?
William Shakespeare calling the Screen Guild show.
William Shakespeare? Put him on.
Go ahead, Mr. Shakespeare.
Any similarity between this play and Romeo and Juliet is purely coincidental.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the Bryan sisters. Those three little girls who made such a big hit singing in the RKO picture Love Affair with Irene Dunn and Charles Boyer. Hello, girls.
Hello, Mr. Murphy.
What are you going to sing, kids?
Tom, Tom, the Piper's son.
Okay, grab that tune and away you run.
Tom, Tom, oh, Tommy. Tom, Tom, oh, Tommy. La-da-dee, ba-ba-da-ta-da-dee-dee. Tom, Tom, the Piper's son. He plays trumpet and he has fun. And he gets fan mail by the ton. Tom, Tom, the Piper's son. Tom, Tom, he joined the band. Packed his trumpet and to the land. He always gets a great big hand. Tom, Tom is simply grand. He can mute his horn with an ear of corn. There ain't nobody born who can play that jazz as razzmatazz. Tom, Tom, the Piper's son. He plays trumpet and he has fun. There's lots of trumpet, but only one. Tom, Tom, the Piper's son. In the village back in my hometown was the Piper with a son named Tommy. He taught the kid cornet, but the corniest yet. Tommy didn't show a bit of promise, but he kept rehearsing and rehearsing. Now he is a very famous person. Tom, Tom, Tommy, the Piper's son. He plays trumpet and he has fun. He gets that mail by the ton. They call him Tommy, the Piper's son. Tom, Tom, Tommy, he joined the band. Packed his trumpet and to the land. He always gets a great big hand. Tom, Tom, is simply grand. He can mute his horn with an ear of corn. There ain't nobody born. Beat it, that beat the horn. Tom, Tom, the Piper's son. He plays trumpet and he has fun. Dee-da-do, dee-da-do, dee-da-da-da. Dee-da-do, dee-da-do, dee-da-ho-ho. Tommy the Piper's son.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, a word from John Conte.
Ladies and gentlemen, did you ever notice how often it's the little easy jobs that get put off from day to day? You just don't think of them at the right time. Well, there's no need for that to happen in the case of your regular spring motor oil change. The right time to think of doing that is the very next time you're at your Good Gulf station. And your Good Gulf dealer has put out a big Do It Now sign to help you remember. Your winter oil is probably dirty and worn out anyway, and it may be a bit low, too. So don't delay a single day longer. Drive into your good Gulf dealers tomorrow and refill with the correct seasonal grade of Gulf Pride motor oil. The sooner you change to Gulf Pride, the sooner you'll be sure that your motor is protected against costly wear and tear. Gulf Pride motor oil is so good that it actually saves you money.
And now little Oscar Bradley makes a grand entrance riding side saddle on a termite as he and the boys gang up on Gotta Get Some Shut-Eye. Get it, Oscar? Get it, boys? Get it. Thank you, Oscar Bradley. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the first citizen of Van Buren, Arkansas. And the Screen Guild show's first Robin of Spring, Robin Burns.
Well, thank you, folks, and thank you, George. That's one of the nicest things about spring. It brings you such pretty things. You know, spring brings you flowers, and it brings you birds, and it brings all that beautiful poetry about spring. I believe if anybody's got any poetry in his soul at all, the spring will bring it out. But I believe the prettiest piece of poetry I ever heard about spring was written by my poetic uncle. That's my Uncle Oliver Wendell Hink. He wrote that song. He just poured his heart out in it, and I've been doing it every spring over where I work. Of course, I can't tell you where that is because we're not supposed to plug anything. I told him, I said, don't worry about me. I'm just a simple, artless country boy, and I couldn't do anything crafty. So, that ain't near as cute as I thought it was going to be. But anyhow, I just want you people to listen to this piece of poetry my uncle wrote and see if you can't just feel the fragrance of that fluttering spring in that piece of poetry. Just close your eyes and just listen to the words of this poetry. It goes, spring has came and winter has went, and it ain't no accident. The birds have flew as you have saw, for it's spring in Arkansas. Now, can't you just smell the fragrance of spring in that? Don't tell me you didn't smell something. But it takes a man that loves nature to write stuff like that. And that's the way my Uncle Hink was. I remember I went back to his house in the mountains one time, and I noticed that he didn't have any roof on his house. And I says, Uncle Hink, why in the world don't you put a roof on the house? And he says, well, Robin, a roof shuts out so many of the beauties of nature. He says, me and my whole family just like to lie on our backs on the floor and look up at the sky and see the fleecy clouds drifting across the lazy sky. And he says, once in a while, a little bird will flit across the open spaces. And he says, at night, we like to lie on our backs and look up at the pretty stars. And I says, yeah, that's all right when the weather's pretty to lie on your back and look up. But what do you do when it rains? He says, well, when it rains, we all lie on our stomachs. But, I said, the thing about him that I admire, he's not selfish. He likes to share the beauties with other people. And I told him, I said, you must be awful disappointed when the clouds shut out the beauties of nature like that for your family. He says, but Robin, he says, the most bitter disappointment I ever had in my life, he says, was when I was a soldier in the Army. And he says, we was camped on a hilltop, and one night I was just lying on my back there looking up at the stars, and they looked so pretty you could almost reach out and get them. And he says, I didn't want to see it all by myself, so I thought I'd wake the other boys up, and I nudged them. I said, boys, get up and look at them pretty stars. And says the other soldier just kind of grunted and turned over and went to sleep. And he says, then I laid on my back and looked up, and I was just about to lose myself in the beauties of the skies again when a lonely skunk walked into camp. And he says, I looked around at them other soldiers, and there they was snoring in vulgar sleep. And he says, Robin, I had to lay there and smell that all by myself. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bob Burns. Thank you. And now, ladies and gentlemen, one of Hollywood's brightest singing stars, a young lady who has thrilled us all with her glorious voice, Miss Virginia Verrill. Tonight she sings Paris in the Spring.
Paris in the spring, la 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 la. Love is in the air, la 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 la. Life's a love affair, and every pair of arms a rendezvous for two. Paris in the spring, la 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 la. Hearts begin to dance, la 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 la. And in every glance you'll find an invitation to romance. You must fall. You simply can't evade love. The moon is there to aid love. Find someone you can call your own. You're to blame if you're alone. It's grand, it's new. It's me, it's you. Every beating heart becomes a part of Paris in the spring. Je vois un arbre, les fruits sont verts encore, les mignonnettes et les violettes paraissent plus belles encore. L'hiver a pris, je sens un brise parmi les feuilles vertes. C'est le joyeux mois de mai. Il nous dit qu'il faut s'aimer. C'est vous, mon Paris, c'est vous. Paris in the spring. Hearts begin to dance. And in every glance you'll find an invitation to romance. You must fall. You simply can't evade love. The moon is there to aid love. Find someone you can call your own. You're to blame if you're alone. It's grand, it's new. It's me and it's you. Every beating heart becomes a part of Paris in the spring.
Oh, thank you, Virginia. That was swell. What a grand girl, what a grand voice. Wonderful. Thank you, Virginia Verrill. That was grand. In just a minute, our cast will give you their version of a wild and woolly Western melodrama. But first, a word from John Conte.
Thank you, George. Ladies and gentlemen, when you move from one home to another, or when you change your old automobile for a new one, you naturally try to make it a change for the better. Well, in somewhat the same way, when you change your worn-out winter motor oil for fresh oil of the right grade for this time of year, better change to Gulf Pride motor oil. Gulf Pride is different from all other motor oils. It's made differently, refined from 100% Pennsylvania crude, not by conventional methods alone, but also by the patented Alchlor process that only Gulf can use. This Alchlor process removes still more waste. That's why Gulf Pride forms so little carbon, why it fights sludge formation, why it's so tough, so durable, and therefore so economical. So better make your regular spring oil change right now. And make it a change to Gulf Pride, the premium oil that saves you money.
Ladies and gentlemen, this season, Hollywood has been making one Western picture after another. So tonight, the Gulf Screen Guild presents its own Western entitled The Wide Open Spaces, or Two Gum Sam. Our version stars Bob Burns, Polly Moran, George Raft, and Warren Heimer. The action takes place in the little black schoolhouse. You see, business has been so good, they took it out of the red. As the scene opens, Polly Moran, the teacher, is instructing the future pioneers of the West.
Attention, children! Attention! We'll skip our usual spelling lesson and begin the day with our drawing lesson. Ready? 1, 2, 3, draw. Very good, kiddies. Albert, pick me up. And now we'll have our arithmetic lesson. Ferdinand Murphy? Ferdinand? Yes, teacher. Ferdinand, stop hitting Mary over the head with Elmer.
Oh, shucks, I want to go home.
No, it's only 1 o'clock, and nobody leaves this room until 3. Who is this?
It's me, your sweetheart, your lover.
Class is dismissed.
Hello, honey.
Hello, Two Gums. Pick me up.
Gee, it's sure good to see you again, gal. Can I come in?
Yes, but what's all that hay doing on the porch?
That ain't hay, gal. I wiped my foot on the doormat and forgot to take my spurs off.
You shouldn't have come back, Sam. The sheriff is out to get you, dead or alive.
I know it, gal. I ain't going to hide in them there scary mountains no more. What a night I put in. The moon was hardly visible through the clouds, and I lay there, it crouched behind the sagebrush and just trembled all night. All night long I could see your face in front of me. Gosh, it was awful. Then and there, gal, I made up my mind to live according to law and order.
Oh, Sam, I could kiss you for saying that. Pucker up.
Now, just a minute, gal.
Don't try to talk me out of it, Sam.
Now, hold on there.
Don't worry, I will.
Okay, here's your kiss.
Wow! How did you learn to pucker up like that?
When I was a kid, I used to like to blow up hot water bottles. Well, now I reckon I'll have to talk to the sheriff and get myself an honest job.
Kiss me goodbye, Gummy.
You mean if I leave you here, I have to kiss you goodbye?
Yes.
Well, in that case, you better come along. Get your hat, gal. Come in. Well, Coyote Edgar, what do you want?
You tell him, Butch. I ain't got the heart.
Sam, we came to tell you your father was the victim of acute thrombosis by strangulation of the medulla oblongata.
Now, wait a minute. What do you mean?
Say, it's tough enough reading this without knowing what it means.
Tell me about it, Edgar. Tell me the whole story.
Well, the gang took your pa out of jail and dropped him off the courthouse balcony. But I threw a rope around him just in time.
What do you mean, just in time?
If I hadn't thrown that rope around your pa's neck when he fell, he would have broke his leg, sure as plumb.
So now my paw's hung, huh? Doggone it, that makes my heart as heavy as a bucket of hog liver. Coyote Edgar, I'll get you for this.
Hold on, Butch. I'm getting out of here.
Out of my way, I'm going after him.
Okay, here's your horse, Sam.
Quick, gal, give me a boost. I'm off. Give me another boost. Both together now. Heave.
Boy, look at that horse run.
Never mind the horse. Help me off of this tree.
In spite of many obstacles, Two Gum Sam manages to arrive at the Golden Nugget Cafe.
Ho, ho, boy. Quiet, Ecstasy. If Coyote Edgar's in that Golden Nugget Cafe, I want to surprise him. Well, here I go. Quiet, everybody. Now, I ain't looking for no trouble except with Coyote Edgar.
Here I am. You ain't bluffing anyone, Two Gum. I ain't afraid of you.
You ain't afraid of me, huh?
No.
Then what are you doing under that table?
I'm talking to a midget.
I should shoot you like a dog, Edgar, but I know I've got the advantage over you, and I like to be fair. We'll stand back to back, and you walk 10 steps and draw, and I'll walk 12 steps and draw.
But wait a minute, I haven't got a gun.
I said I like to be fair. That's why I'm penalizing myself 2 steps.
That ain't fair, and you know it.
Well, how about 4 steps?
Big ones?
You drive a hard bargain, Edgar.
Wait! Stop this duel. Coyote Edgar, Two Gun Sam is the man I'm going to marry.
Then I won't shoot him.
Why not?
You're my enemy, Sam, and I ain't doing you no favors.
I didn't hear what you said, but if you say it again, I'll break your arm. And just for that, you can go on with the duel.
Well, thanks.
But remember, play fair and square. Now stand back to back. Take 10 steps as I count. Then turn around and fire.
Okay, let's go.
Stand back, everybody. Get ready. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
He got me.
Well, guess I'll be going.
Wait a minute, Edgar. You didn't play fair.
Oh, I did, too.
Then why did you shoot at 5? You were supposed to take 10 steps.
I did. I hopped with both feet, and 5 times 2 is 10. Nah.
Oh, I'm dying.
Two Gum, speak to me.
It's no use, gal. I'm dying.
If you do, I want to die, too. Here's the gun. Take me with you.
No, gal, my time has come, and I'm going to go alone.
Oh, very well. Kiss me goodbye.
Doggone it, you convinced me again, gal. You can come along, too.
Our thanks to the Bryan sisters, Warren Heimer, Polly Moran, George Raft, and Virginia Verrill for a swell golf screen show.
Well, say, George, who's going to be on next week?
Well, Bob, it's going to be another review with Joan Bennett, Rosemary Lane, Mickey Rooney, and Rudy Valley and the King's Men.
That sure sounds swell, George. I'll wire my folks back in Van Buren. We'll all be listening in. Good night, George.
Good night, Bob, and thanks very much for coming. Next week, ladies and gentlemen, the same time, the same station. The good golf dealer in your neighborhood joins the Gulf Oil Companies in welcoming you to another Gulf Screen Guild show with a review starring Joan Bennett, Rosemary Lane, Mickey Rooney, and Rudy Valley and the King's Men. Until then, this is George Murphy saying thank you for the Gulf Oil Companies and the motion picture industry, and good night.
We are grateful to MGM for George Murphy, to Kraft and Paramount for Bob Burns, now appearing in I'm from Missouri, to Warner Brothers for George Raft, soon to be seen in Each Dawn I Die. Thanks also to The Wonder Show for Virginia Verrill. Billy Burke and Edna Mae Oliver were unable to be with us today because of illness and studio commitments. John Conte speaking. This is the Columbia Broadcasting System. Welcome, everybody. Tonight, your neighborhood good golf dealer joins the Gulf Oil Companies in presenting another program in this series of reviews, musical comedies, and dramatic shows. Written, directed, and acted by the greatest names in Hollywood for the benefit of the Motion Picture Relief Fund. Tonight, it's a review written by Everett Freeman and directed by A. Edward Souther. So welcome all of you to the Motion Picture Star's own program. Welcome to the Gulf Screen Guild Show with Joan Bennett, Rosemary Lane, Mickey Rooney, Rudy Valley, the King's Men and Oscar Bradley, and Hollywood's favorite master of ceremonies, George Murphy.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another Gulf Screen Guild show. Since these shows started last January, it's been my privilege to introduce to you some of the greatest stars in the motion picture industry. And tonight is no exception. For tonight, the Gulf Oil Companies bring you a review starring Joan Bennett, Rosemary Lane, Mickey Rooney, Rudy Valley, and the King's Men. And so on with the show. And our first Screen Guild star for tonight, Rosemary Lane. Ah, Rosemary, you really are a perfect picture. You look as though you had just come from leading the Easter parade.
Thank you, George, but I really got all dressed up to sing with you tonight.
Well, I am flattered. What song shall we sing?
Well, today is Easter,
So they say.
and my music should fit the occasion.
Yes, indeed.
Now, I could sing Easter Parade today.
With very little persuasion.
Yes, but George, that's much too obvious.
Yes, in fact, it's become quite a habit.
Nothing rhymes with obvious, does it?
No, I don't think so. Say, is there a song about a rabbit?
How about lilies and flowers and stuff?
A song for Easter. You know, this problem is tough.
Oh, I know. I'm putting all my eggs in one basket.
Why?
I'm betting everything I've got on you.
Well, that's nice. You know what I'm doing? I'm giving all my love to one baby.
Me?
Yes, and Lord help me if you don't come through.
I've got a great big amount
Dough?
saved up in my love account.
Oh.
Honey, and I've decided love divided in two won't do.
Why, of course not, yeah.
I'm putting all my eggs in one basket. I'm betting everything I've got on you.
You know, Rosemary, gal, you sure are a gambler.
No, George, just confidence. I'm betting you're my lucky seven.
Well, honey, you're fated. My money is on the line. I'm putting all my chips on one number, which goes to show you what your love is worth.
I'm dreaming all my dreams of one angel.
Ah, dream it, gal, dream
Sweet
it.
angel, don't you drop me down to earth.
If I should drop you by chance, you should have some old romance waiting for your attention the day I mention we're through, all through.
Oh, I'm putting all my eggs in one basket. I dropped it.
Would you care to join us in an omelet?
We're putting all our eggs in one basket. We hope you have a happy Easter,
Rosemary, you were really great, and pretty, too. You know, I could stand here all day and rave about you, but John Conte can sum it up in just a few words.
Thank you, George. Now, look, Rosemary, you ladies know that quality clothes usually turn out to be more economical in the long run. And you men know that when you buy something for the house, it pays to buy something that will stand up and give real service. Well, that same principle holds when you make your regular spring motor oil change. Change now to Gulf Pride motor oil and see if you don't save money on motoring expenses. Gulf Pride stands up under the toughest kind of use. It gives you really first-rate engine protection. That's why car owners report fewer repair bills and less oil needed between drains when they use Gulf Pride in their cars. You see, Gulf Pride is made differently from all other motor oils. It's refined from 100% pure Pennsylvania crude, not by conventional methods alone, but also by the patented Alchlor process that only Gulf can use. So look for the Do It Now sign outside your good Gulf dealers and change tomorrow to Gulf Pride, the motor oil that works wonders of lubrication in your automobile.
There you are, Rosemary. How was that?
That was beautifully said. I'm going right over in the corner, George, and dream about it.
Oh, no, wait. Don't wander too far away. We have more to tell you later on. And right now, here comes a little fellow who's one of the biggest stars in Hollywood, Mickey Rooney. Well, Mickey, my friend, I'm glad you dropped in. I wanted to tell you that I saw Huckleberry Finn the other night, and I thought you were great.
Thanks, George. I put everything I had into that character. In fact, now I really feel part Huckleberry Finn.
You do?
Yep. I don't know whether to call myself Huckleberry Rooney or Mickey Finn.
What part of the picture did you enjoy making best?
Well, George, I think the part I liked best was playing hooky from school. We shot the scene over and over, and finally the director said, "Look, Mickey, you're supposed to be playing hooky. Make it real. Give me some realism."
And did you give it to him?
I think so. He's still looking for me. No kidding, George.
That's nice work if you can get away with it.
Don't say it too loud. MGM might hear you. But, George, you're a very fortunate man. Boy, are you a lucky man.
I am?
Yep. I wrote a song, and I'm going to play it for you right now, in person.
But, Mickey...
Oh, no trouble at all, George. Oh, Oscar Bradley, can I move your piano over here?
Why, of course, Mickey.
Thanks.
Oh, no, hell. Mickey. Mickey, would you mind lifting it a little higher?
Why?
I want to get my gum back. Wait a minute, Mickey. You can't play now. Something else is going to happen.
Look, George, I dragged the piano all the way over here, and I'm going to sing.
Mickey, I've got to go on with this introduction.
Oh, go right ahead. By all means, go ahead.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to introduce a man whose music and songs have thrilled all of us for many years. Rudy Valley.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. And now I'm going to play for you.
Just a minute, Mickey. I may be wrong, but I think that applause was for me.
All of it?
I think so.
Oh, that's how much you know. The first 7 rows out there are my relatives.
They are, eh? Let's see. Hey, are all you people in the first 7 rows Mickey's relatives?
Sure! Why not?
Hey.
How did he get in there?
Look, Mickey, you can sing later, but right now everything is set for Rudy Valley to sing.
Gee, after me moving that piano all the way over here?
I'm sorry, Mickey, but it's got to be that way.
Well, all I've got to say is that this is a heck of a way to treat a guest star. I was all ready to come up here and play my song, and you won't let me. Oh, gee whiz.
Oh, Mickey, you shouldn't mind letting Rudy go on first. You know, the star always closes the show.
Really?
Why, of course. Say, Rudy, when you were on the stage together in New York, who closed the show?
The manager.
Well, in that case, all right, Mr. Valley, you sing first.
Thank you, Mickey.
The Gulf Screen Guild Show presents We're Taking Off, an unusual piece of musical imagination featuring Rudy Valley and the King's Men. Rudy Valley is heard as Major Kincaid. Time, 1918. Scene, somewhere in France, in a French farmhouse used as a billet by American Army flyers. The occasion, a celebration in honor of Major Kincaid, squadron commander, who leaves for Paris the next morning on a month's leave of absence. He is about to be married.
Are breaking up that old gang of mine.
A toast to the bride.
To the bride.
Thank you, men. I guess I need hardly tell you how happy I am tonight. I suppose that every man feels this way about the girl he's going to marry. But she's really wonderful. We're going to be together a whole month. That's a long time in days like these.
And how?
No more
a
doubt
month
about
of
it.
quiet.
There's just one more thing. I want you all to know that my thoughts will still be with you. Praying for your safety and success up there in the sky. Enough of thoughts like these. Let's have another song. Goodbye, girls. I'm through.
Each girl that I have met, I say goodbye to you.
Come in.
Colonel Scott's compliments to the Major. Emergency orders.
Bad news, sir?
Attention. Orders. Your special leave of absence effective this date is herewith canceled. Intensive drive in your sector scheduled for tomorrow, April 16th, 4 a.m. Signed, Lyman Adjutant.
That's a doggone
I guess that's that. Lieutenant, will you try to get a message through to Paris informing her of this change? I guess that's about all. It looks as though we'll have to sing a different tune.
And the life and pleasure is good for your soul. Get the fullest measure till death takes its toll. Carry on your drinking, for when night is gone, we'll be on the dawn patrol.
We're taking off when the dawn lights the sky. We're taking off
Heaven knows where or why, but we'll give a show and let 'em know the old Dawn Patrol is on high. We're taking off down the highway to hell. The ground is soft, ask the fellows who fell. Drink up to the minute, we'll darn soon be in it. For God knows the daisies won't tell.
Good night, sir. Good night, sir. Good night, Major.
Good night, men. Good night.
Silver wings and the clouds seem to beckon us on. So we fly ever high toward the blue of the sky till the world is forgotten and gone. Then death comes diving, diving on wings that whistle and rattle and cry. There's a clatter of guns and a chatter of lead, and the dead fall down from the sky.
We're going home down the skyway to hell. The ground is soft, ask the fellows who fell. Ring up to the minute, we'll all soon be in it. But God knows the daisies won't
Thank you, Rudy. Thank you. That was really grand. It was really great.
I'll say it was. Gosh, Mr. Valley, after listening to that, I can understand how you've made so many songs popular.
Thank you, Mickey. Now I want to hear you sing all those numbers you've written.
Oh, shucks, I only wrote one.
What? A man of your talents has only written one?
Well, you didn't let me finish. I only wrote 100.
Oh, well, in that case, sit down and play them for me.
What?
You said you wrote 100 songs. Play them for me.
Well, Mr. Valley...
Come on, now play them for me.
When am I going to learn to keep my big mouth shut? Well, here goes. The biggest song hit I ever had published, it went something like this, remember? Have a heart, give another chance to me, bring a new romance to me, you know.
That's sure a great song, Mickey.
Oh, thank you. The success of that song gave me the encouragement to go ahead, and then I wrote... in a little Spanish town was on a night like this.
Hey, wait a minute, Mickey. You mean to tell me that you wrote that song?
Oh, not only that, but after it came out, a fellow who was struggling to get ahead in the show business begged me to give him a song. So I sat down and dashed off this little one here. Tomatoes are cheaper, potatoes are cheaper. Now's the time to fall. Now go sell it, Dad.
That's Eddie Cantor's song.
Cheaper.
Eddie Cantor's song. What's the idea?
Well, I told you I gave it to him, didn't I? And then came my greatest inspiration.
More? You surprise me.
I surprised myself.
Say, have you written any other songs for people of the theater?
Well, yes. Some guy's agent asked me to write a song, but I never did find out what happened to it after I gave it to him. It went something like this. My time is your time. Your time.
I'd like to find out what happened to that one myself. But, Mickey, how did you find time to write all those songs when you're so busy acting?
Well, it's a cinch. I make them up after only hearing them once.
Talking about acting, Mickey, there's something I'd like to ask you.
Oh, sure. Go ahead. Anything at all. What is it?
Well, I think you probably know that I'm making a picture out at 20th Century Fox. If you could give me any pointers on the love scenes with Sonia, I'd appreciate it.
Love scenes? Well, I don't know anything about that. Why, even in Andy Hardy, love had to find me, but I'd be glad to show you anything I can.
Oh, that's fine, Mickey. Say, wait a minute. We'll need a girl, won't we?
I'll say we will. Leave it to me. I'm sure I can get somebody down here in a jiffy. Now, give me that phone, will you? This girl should be perfect. She's a nice kid, too.
Miss Joan Bennett's residence.
Is Miss Bennett in, please?
Who's calling, please?
Mickey Rooney.
I'm sorry, Miss Bennett is not home.
The maid says she's not home.
Let me talk to the maid, Mickey. I'd like to leave a message for Joan. Hello. Would you mind taking a message for Miss Bennett?
Who is it, please?
Rudy Valley.
Just a minute. I'll let you speak to Miss Bennett.
Hey, I thought she wasn't home.
Shh, quiet, Mickey.
Hello, Rudy.
Hello, Joan. Say, Joan, I'm over at the Screen Guild show, and I've asked someone here to give me some instruction in acting. I wondered if you'd drop over and help me out.
I'd love to, Rudy. I'll be right over.
Not at home, eh? Well, let me talk to her. Hello, Joan.
Sorry, Miss Bennett is not at home.
And now, lovely Rosemary Lane returns to bring us Sing My Heart, one of the hit songs from the RKO production, Love Affair. Sing it, Rosemary.
Go on and sing, my heart. You know it's spring, my heart. So why not show it? Pretend you're glad, my heart. Although you're sad, my heart. He must know it. Remember, love is not an easy game. No two hearts ever beat quite the same. Go on and dance, my heart. Our only chance, my heart, is to forget it. Should you despair, my heart, he'll know we care, my heart, and will regret it. If it's to be, we soon shall see, and if it's not to be, no power on earth can make it so. Pretend it's spring, my heart. Go on and sing, my heart. For if you sing, you'll never know. Go on and sing, my heart. You know it's spring, my heart. So why not show it? Pretend you're glad, my heart. Although you're sad, my heart. He must know it. If it's to be, we soon shall see. And if it's not to be, no power on earth can make it so. Pretend it's spring, my heart. Go on and sing, my heart. For if you sing, he'll never
Oh, thank you, Rosemary. That was swell. And now, ladies and gentlemen, while Mickey Rooney and Rudy Valley are waiting for Joan Bennett to arrive at the studio, just a word from John Conti.
One of your neighbors is displaying a big Do It Now sign outside his place of business. He's your Good Gulf dealer. And Do It Now means change your worn-out winter motor oil to fresh Gulf Pride motor oil. Probably you've been meaning to take care of that regular spring oil change anyway. So let your Gulf dealer's sign remind you not to wait a single day longer. We honestly believe you'll find it more economical in the long run to change now to the right seasonal grade of Gulf Pride. And it's easy to do, too, because your good Gulf dealer gives you quick, efficient service. Service that saves you time and makes motoring a lot pleasanter. For your spring oil change and for all your motoring needs, it pays to make the good Gulf dealer your dealer.
And now, ladies and gentlemen...
Step aside, George. And what I mean is, here comes Joan Bennett.
Well, Joan, welcome. Welcome, Joan, to the Gulf Screen Guild Show. It was swell of you to come over.
Thank you, George. I'm glad Rudy called me. By the way, Rudy, where's the director you talked about over the phone?
Oh, it's Mickey Rooney.
Mickey Rooney? Well, he's just a child.
Child? I like that. I'll have you know I shave twice a month. What do you think of that?
You shaving? That's like running a lawnmower over linoleum.
Oh, that's very funny, Miss Bennett. You kill me. Yeah.
Hey, look, Mickey. If you're going to teach me to act, let's get started. Are you willing, Joan?
Well, that's great, Joan. Now, places, everybody. George, will you be my assistant, please?
Okay, Lubitsch.
That's fine. And now, Joan, as the scene opens, you're home alone eating dinner. All of a sudden, you hear...
What am I having for dinner?
What's the difference what you're having for dinner?
Well, I have to eat it, don't I?
Oh, all right, you're having corned beef. All of a sudden...
And cabbage?
Yes, you're having corned beef and cabbage. And then all of a sudden...
I don't like corned beef and cabbage.
Okay, look, it's the next day. You're having chicken a la king.
Hurry.
What's the matter now?
I can still taste that corned beef and cabbage.
Let's forget all about the food. Now, you're in your room all by yourself.
What happened to the chicken a la king?
I ate it. Goodness sake, let's get on with the scene. Now, look, Rudy, you go to your sweetheart's house, and you knock at the door, and she says, "Who is it?" And you say, "It's me." It's me, your lover. I have a kiss for you.
Boy, is that corny.
It may be... Listen, Joan, it may be corny, but they tell me it gets results. Now, come on, everybody, on with the scene.
Okay, I'm coming up to the door.
Who's there?
It's I, your lover.
What do you want?
I want some seafood, Mama.
Please, Rudy, stick to the script, will you? All right. All right, try to do it right this time, Rudy.
All right, I'm coming up to the door.
Who's there?
It's I, your lover. I have a kiss for you.
Oh, come in.
All right, Rudy, come in and say, "Hello, darling."
Hello, darling.
Joan, look into his eyes and say, Now, Rudy, put your arms around her. Don't ad-lib, Miss Bennett. All right, now, Rudy, lift her chin gently and turn her face up to yours. And now?
And now?
Shall I tell him? Look, Rudy, you were supposed to kiss her. Here, let me show you what I mean. Now, are you ready, Joan?
Yes.
Oh, boy, here I come up the steps.
Who's there?
It's me, your lover. I have a kiss for you.
Shove it under the door.
How do you like that? Well, I'm only trying to show Rudy how to play a scene. Now, Rudy, I'll start. And as soon as you get the idea, you can take it. And if you go wrong, then I'll take it back.
That's fair enough.
Okay. Here we go. Joan, it's wonderful being back with you.
I've missed you so.
Oh, let me tell you how much I care for you.
I'll take it from there. Come into my arms, my loved one.
It's wonderful being near you again.
Ah, your fragile beauty. Your fragrant hair.
Hold me closer, darling.
Oh, your lips are so lovely. Let me kiss them.
I'll take it from there. boy.
Wait a minute, Mickey. You're supposed to be teaching me how to act.
Oh, all right. Now we'll go back to where you and Joan were about to kiss.
Oh, my sweetheart. Kiss me.
Yes, my darling.
He's not kidding me.
How's that, Mickey? How was that?
He's asking me, how was that, huh? Now, look, let's continue with the scene. Joan, you say, kiss me again, and Rudy, you kiss her.
Kiss me again.
Now, that's perfect. Now we go to the scene.
Kiss me again.
Miss Bennett, the scene is over.
Kiss me again.
Miss Bennett, that's all wrong. You're not acting.
You're telling me. Come on, Rudy. Kiss me again.
Rosemary Lane, Mickey Rooney, Rudy Valley, the King's Men, Joan Bennett, and Oscar Bradley for a swell Screen Guild show.
Oh, George.
Yes, Joan?
Speaking for tonight's cast, I'd like to say we're glad to contribute our services to the Motion Picture Relief Fund. And we appreciate the cooperation of the Gulf Oil Companies in helping our cause. These Sunday shows are making it possible for us to build a home for those members of the industry who can no longer provide for themselves.
Thank you, Joan. And be sure to listen in next week.
Oh, you don't have to worry about that. Who's going to be on, George?
Well, let's see. There's Adrian Ames, Jim Cagney, Andy Devine, Priscilla Lane, Donald Meek, and Theodore Von Eltz.
Well, that sounds like a wonderful show. Good night, George.
Good night, Joan, and thanks again for coming. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, next week, same time, the same station, the good Gulf dealer in your neighborhood joins the Gulf Oil Companies in welcoming you to another Screen Guild show with Adrian Ames, James Cagney, Andy Devine, Priscilla Lane, Donald Meek, and Theodore Von Eltz. And until then, this is George Murphy saying thank you for the Gulf Oil Companies and the motion picture industry. And good night.
We are grateful to MGM for George Murphy and for Mickey Rooney, soon to be seen in The Hardys Ride High. To Warner Brothers for Rosemary Lane, soon to appear in Family Affair. And to Edward Small Productions for Joan Bennett, who will soon be seen in The Man in the Iron Mask. Rudy Valley appears through the courtesy of 20th Century Fox Films and the Royal Gelatin Company. Thanks to Frank Lesser of Paramount for special lyrics. John Conte speaking. This is the Columbia Broadcasting System. Welcome, everybody. Tonight, your neighborhood Good Gulf dealer joins the Gulf Oil Companies in presenting another program in this series of reviews, musical comedies, and dramatic shows. Written, directed, and acted by the greatest names in Hollywood for the benefit of the Motion Picture Relief Fund. Tonight, it's a drama written by Charles Tazwell and directed by Victor Fleming. So welcome all of you to this week's Gulf program, the Screen Guild Show. With Adrian Ames, James Cagney, Andy Devine, Priscilla Lane, Donald Meek, Theodore Von Eltz, the music of Oscar Bradley, and Hollywood's favorite master of ceremonies, George Murphy.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Gulf Oil Companies, I welcome you to another Screen Guild show, the motion picture star's own program. Tonight, it's a drama, The Hand of Providence, directed by Victor Fleming and written by Charles Tazwell, under the musical direction of Oscar Bradley. The play, The Hand of Providence, is of two crooks and a lady. The lady, Jane Baker, is played by Priscilla Lane. Tony Barlow is James Cagney. Andy Devine will be heard as Blackie Knight. Donald Meek is Lawyer Harvey. Harriet is played by Adrian Ames. And Theodore Von Eltz will be heard as Ralph.
Attention all squad cars, attention all squad cars. Black sedan, New Mexico license 4C2482, stolen from Santa Fe Station, Albuquerque this morning. Repeat, black sedan, New Mexico license 4C2482.
Special news bulletin. Anthony Barlow, alias Tony Barlow, and James Knight, alias Blackie Knight, escaped from the custody of Special Officer Miles at Albuquerque this morning. These two convicted men are wanted for attempted robbery.
Turn it off, will you, Tony?
What are you worried about, Blackie? We're okay.
Oh, if you call being in the middle of Kansas in a howling blizzard okay, then I'm a cross-eyed cockroach.
Well, you're not cross-eyed.
Huh? What'd you say?
I'd say it's a lot better than being cooped up in a hoose cow, isn't it? Smell that? That's fresh air.
Hey, close up the window, Tony. Don't you know it's 10 below?
Okay. If we can make Kansas City by morning, we'll ditch the car there and head south.
We ain't going to get to KC if this blizzard keeps up.
The trouble with you, Blackie, is you're a pessimist.
Huh?
Now, I'm an optimist, and I've got reason to be. I've got something looking out for me.
Oh, sometimes I think you're nuts, Tony.
Nothing can happen to you as long as you're with Tony Barlow. You just say that 50 times a day.
That's what I was saying when the burglar alarm went off in that bank in New Mexico.
Yeah? Well, we were on the outside. If they caught you working on the safe, they'd have sent us up for 5 years instead of 3. You're lucky.
Yeah, now we only get 5 years for jailbreaking if they catch us.
They're not going to catch up with us. It's all in the hands of Providence.
Providence? Who is this Providence?
An old girlfriend of mine.
Oh, is that who you're always gabbing with when you're talking to yourself?
Yeah. We give each other a little mumbo-jumbo now and then to straighten things out. She gives me some lucky breaks.
Well, you better ask her for one right now. Look up ahead.
Heather, lights. Shooting out across the snow.
Well, don't slow down now. Step on it,
That car's
Tony.
not moving. It's parked right across the road.
It's a cop.
Yeah, can I turn around?
Not a chance. It'd get stuck, sure.
We've got to shoot it out. Here, slide over me, Blackie, and take the wheel.
What are you going to do, Tony?
We're going through, cops or no cops. Step on her, will you? We'll see if we can slide by.
Okay.
Hey, wait a minute.
Hold it, Blackie. What? Hold it. This is the cops of Dane.
Oh, let's go. Dames is worse than cops.
Hold it, I tell you. It's a girl.
Oh, look at Tony. We can't do nothing for her. We got a hot car, and the cops are right behind us. And
We've got to give her a lift. She needs it.
Oh, right now, Dames is poison.
Poison or no poison, it's Providence.
Oh, Providence, Chicago, Kansas City. It's no good.
Shut up and open the door.
Hey, mister.
What's the trouble?
I'm stuck. My car won't move.
Hop in. Move over, Blackie, and give lady a seat.
In this car? Oh, sister, that's a hot seat.
Warm enough?
Yes, thanks, Mr.
Tony, that's Blackie at the wheel.
Oh, hello.
He's not very happy, is he?
No, he's always like that. He's a pessimist, afraid of what he doesn't expect.
Well, I guess he didn't expect me.
I wasn't counting on no Janes.
Well, that's funny. That's my name.
Huh?
Jane Baker.
Blackie's sort of a mind reader. How'd you happen to be driving in this blizzard?
I came through from Los Angeles. I've been on the road 5 days.
You must have been taking your time.
Oh, my car's an antique. I had 3 punctures, a blowout, and a bearing went bad outside Santa Fe. It was Providence you came along when you did.
Hear that, Blackie?
We're only about 1.5 miles from my home.
Your folks will probably kill the fatted calf.
Well, I haven't any folks. That is close. Just Gramp.
Gramp?
My grandfather. He and my grandmother raised me. Then after grandmother died, I stayed on and kept house.
Gramp's got a nice little farm, eh?
He used to be an engineer on the Kansas Central. The tracks go through the cut right over there. When they retired him to the farm, it almost broke his heart.
How'd you happen to leave him and go to L.A.?
Well, Gramp thought I was wasting my life around here. I played the lead in my high school play.
I get it. Local gal makes Hollywood.
Oh, I hated it. I never got inside a studio gate.
You gotta have faith in yourself. That's the only way you can get the breaks.
Well, I discovered I didn't want a break. All I wanted from Hollywood was to get back home.
You hear that, Blackie? To switch on the old story.
How you girls talk when you let down your back hair.
Quiet,
From
dope.
sunny California to a Kansas blizzard. I don't know, lady, but I know.
Oh, but you ought to see Gramp's house in the summer. There are 2 big elms that shade the front yard. They're more than 100 years old. And there's roses and a grape arbor. And a well so deep it talks back to you when you shout down it. It's the grandest place in the state of Kansas, or in the whole world.
That sounds perfect to me.
Might be perfect for a hideout.
Yeah.
Oh, what?
A vacation, eh, Blackie? Yeah. Blackie's got sense.
Well, slow down. We're almost there.
Tired, Blackie?
Tired nothing. I'm dead.
Why don't you stay over at Gramps until the plows come through to open the road?
No, thanks.
What time will that be?
In the morning, about 6.
Well,
Oh, we gotta push on.
we could make better time in the
Now,
morning.
look, Tony.
Gramp and I'll be glad to have you.
I tell you, we gotta keep going.
And get stuck in a snowbank, Blackie? Sitting there helpless and waiting for some kind officer of the law to dig us out in the morning?
Oh, yeah, but...
Then you'll stay?
If, sure Gramp won't mind.
Why, of course not. Oh, there's the gate. There's a shed back of the house where you could put your car.
Oh, nothing can happen to me as long as I'm with Tony Barlow. Nothing can happen to me as long as I'm with Tony Barlow. Nothing can happen to me as long as I'm with Tony
Gramp! Oh, Gramp!
Who is it?
Is that you, Jane?
Jane, darling. Harriet.
Where have you been? Didn't you get the telegram?
Hello, Jane.
Lawyer Harvey. Ralph. Well, what are you all doing here? Is Grant sick? Sick? Do you mean to say you don't know?
Jane, dear, grandfather's dead.
Dead?
Yes. Yes, Miss Jane.
But he can't be. I had a letter just...
Well, I know it was very sudden. 5 days ago.
Well, but Gramp, he... Oh, Gramp.
What is this, a convention? Come on, Tony, let's get out of here.
No, wait. We can't walk out now, Blackie.
Now, Miss Jane. I know it's a terrible shock.
After all, Jane, Grandfather was 81.
82, Harriet.
Grandfather lived a full, happy life of 81 now.
81, 82. The man's dead.
Oh, when was the old guy planted? I mean, when was he buried?
3 days ago, Mr.
Black like in coffee.
Friends of yours, Jane?
Oh, they were kind enough to pick me up when my car got stuck. Mr. Black and Mr.
Tone, sorry to have come in at a time like this.
My cousins Harriet and Ralph and Lawyer Harvey.
How do you do?
The storm's so bad I asked them to stay till the plows came through in the morning.
How generous of you.
I didn't know then that Gramp wasn't here.
I'm afraid there's no place for them to sleep. I have the front bedroom.
I took Gramps, and Lawyer Harvey has the middle room.
That leaves the back bedroom for you, Jane.
We can camp out here in the kitchen. That is, if it's okay with you.
Oh, of course.
So what time should we get together in the morning, Lawyer Harvey?
Ralph and I want the will read as soon as possible.
Wilson, the real estate man, found a buyer for the property. He wants to see us at 2.
You're not going to sell Gramp's house.
It's not Gramp's house now, Jane. It's Ralph's and mine.
Wilson says he can get a fair price for it.
But it's always been lived in by us bakers. You just can't turn it over to some outsider.
Pardon me. I think I understand how Jane feels. You see, Mr. Baker always told me he wanted Jane to have this place.
He didn't say so in the will, Lawyer Harvey.
No, but after all,
Not that
Ralph...
Grandfather wasn't fond of you, Jane. He took care of you while he lived. You mustn't feel badly because he didn't mention you in his will.
And since he never made a new one...
I don't. But can't you wait to sell the house, Harriet? It seems like...
We must dispose of our inheritance as we see fit, Jane.
Excuse me, will you? I know I really don't belong here, but might I ask a question?
Yes, Mr. Tone?
Graham's been alone here for quite a while, hasn't he? How do you know he didn't draw up a new will and mention Jane?
Lawyer Harvey would know if he had.
Well, no, he didn't, Mr. Tone. Mr. Baker several appointments made, but to draw up a New Testament, but, well, he was like that. If it rained, he couldn't get into town, and if the sun shone, he just couldn't let anything interfere with his fishing.
Where's the old will? Down at the bank?
No, it's been locked in a safe in the kitchen for 10 years. No one's touched it. Not even Gramp.
You mean the safe hasn't been opened?
For 10 years?
It couldn't be opened.
Why not?
Because, Mr. Tone, Grandfather was a whimsical man. He bought the safe at an auction.
He didn't have the combination for the lock, but he kept his will and his bonds in it.
Did you say bonds?
Yes.
Are the bonds worth anything?
About $5,000, I imagine. Grandfather bought one a year for nest eggs.
Is there any more family data we've neglected to give you?
Uh-huh. Are they still in there?
Yes. Poor Grandfather shut the door one day and it locked. He was never able to get it open again.
I'll make you a proposition, Harriet.
Please. Jane, how long did you say you've known these gentlemen?
Tell me, did you help Gramp make the will, Lawyer Harvey?
No, Mr. Tone. That was done before I came here. Old Benson wrote it out by hand. He's gone now, poor soul, along with Dobie Ames and Cal Corbett, who witnessed it. A fine lawyer, Benson. He's made all the wills in the county for 50 years.
Isn't it getting a bit nostalgic in here? Ralph, bring the lamp. I'm going to bed.
Well, I think I'll go, too. Oh, the locksmith will be out at 9 o'clock in the morning to open the safe. At my age, these
All right,
winters...
Lawyer Harvey. Come on.
Good night. Good night, everybody.
Nighty-night.
Good night.
You better go out and drain the radiator of the car, Blackie.
I'd better take an ice pick. It's probably froze up tight in that dame's heart.
Go on.
Okay, Tony.
Oh, listen. Hear that?
Train whistle.
When I was little, I used to wait for Grant's train every afternoon over by the cut. Pretty soon it'd come swinging along. Gramp would wave and the whistle would blow. Just like that.
I kind of think I'd have liked Gramp.
Oh, everybody did.
Oh, too bad about the will in the house. I can't see why Gramp left everything to Ralph and Harriet.
Well, they were Gramps' first grandchildren. When they were little, he must have been terribly proud of them.
I wouldn't give him much now. Any idea what you'll do?
No.
That's tough. Tough for a girl. A guy can always get along somehow. I'm sorry we busted in at a time like this.
Oh, I'm glad you were here. Gramp would be, too. It'd be pretty bad with just Ralph and Harriet in the house. You're Gramps' kind of folks.
Thanks.
Well, good night.
Good night.
I'll see you in the morning.
Yeah, sure. We'll be here.
The snowplows will be through early, but you'll stay for breakfast.
Oh, yes, we'll stay if we don't wake up too early.
Jiminy Christmas, it's cold. I'll bet it's 20 below.
Good night, Mr. Blackie.
Good night. Gosh, Tony, I near froze my hands. I couldn't hardly hold on to the flashlight to see what I was doing.
Well, start warming them up.
Huh?
Start warming them up.
What do you mean?
Listen, Blackie, there's a safe in this house that hasn't been opened for 10 years. And it's got $5,000 worth of bonds in it. Does that mean anything to you?
Mean anything? Huh. Why, that's a perfect setup.
That's where you're wrong, Blackie. Warm up those fingers. This isn't a setup. This is Providence.
The curtain has just fallen on the first act of The Hand of Providence, written by Charles Tazewell and directed by Victor Fleming. And now, here's John Conte.
The traffic signs you see along the roadside are usually put there because they contribute to your safety. Well, in somewhat the same way, your good Gulf dealer has put up a special sign, one that has to do with safety also, the safety of your automobile engine. Now, this sign says, "Do it now." And it means change your motor oil now to fresh Gulf Pride motor oil of the right seasonal grade. You see, Gulf Pride motor oil gives you extra engine protection. It's made differently from all other oils. Refined from 100% pure Pennsylvania crude, not by conventional methods alone, but also by the patented Alchlor process that Gulf alone can use. So keep your eyes open for the Do It Now sign. Play safe and change to Gulf Pride, the motor oil that works wonders of lubrication.
The curtain is about to rise again on the second act of our Gulf Screen Guild play, The Hand of Providence, starring James Cagney, Adrian Ames, Priscilla Lane, Andy Devine, Donald Meek, and Theodore Von Elf.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, Harriet.
You still here, Mr. Blackie?
Yeah, sorry, but we're still waiting for that snowplow.
I called the highway department at 9.
What'd they say?
They assured me the road would be open by 10 o'clock at the latest, Mr. Black.
10 now.
Well, we ought to be traveling.
Is the coffee hot, Jane?
Yes. Goodness, who's that?
Tony.
It might be Carl.
It's probably another friend of Jane's. I'll go.
Who's Carl?
The locksmith.
Oh.
Morning. Morning, ma'am.
Come in, Carl.
Morning, Harvey. Gosh, I'm late, but I come along right behind the plow.
And the road's open?
As far as here, they're working toward the main highway.
Well, I guess we better follow them.
Can't you wait just a little?
I'm afraid not, Jane. It's important we get to Kansas City.
Yeah, very important.
The sheriff's car was stuck down the road. He's following along behind the plow.
Oh. I guess we could wait a little bit, Jane.
Yeah, I guess we could.
Come right in the kitchen, Carl. That's where the safe is. Come on, Harriet, Ralph, Jane.
Don't look so good, does it, Tony?
We're still all right if we stay here till the sheriff gets out of the way.
Yeah, if we'd have just kept on going instead of stopping here last night.
If we had, we might have been stuck on the same drift as the sheriff. Come on, let's see how they're doing with the safe.
Look here, my good man. You've been working on that safe for an hour. We haven't got all day.
Haven't you ever opened a safe before?
He's a rank amateur, Harriet. Now,
what was that, Mr. Black?
Don't criticize something you know nothing about, Blackie.
Yeah, excuse me.
I think I most got it, Lawyer Harvey. Yep. There you are. She's open.
And about time.
Well, everything seems to be just as Mr. Baker left it 10 years ago. Let me see now. This looks as though it might be the will. Yes, Mr. Baker's handwriting. I couldn't mistake that in 100 years. Could you, Ralph?
No, that's his, all right.
Yes, indeed. And here, Here's where old Dobie Ames and Cal Corbett witnessed.
I think you've verified the paper sufficiently, Lawyer Harvey.
Yes, indeed, Ralph. Now, let me see. Be it known by all present that I, Daniel C. Baker, being
Just jump
of
down to
sound
the middle
mind...
part.
Oh, all right, Miss Harriet. Here we are. To my dear granddaughter Harriet, whom I have never liked...
What?
Believing her to be a vain, stupid, empty-headed, selfish female.
The idea.
And not worth 2 hoots on a switch engine whistle.
I don't believe it.
I'm only reading what it says, Miss Harriet. To Harriet, I leave the sum of $1, and I hope she loses that down a grating on her way home from my funeral.
It's incredible.
Very unfortunate, Harriet. Go on, Lawyer Harvey.
To my dear grandson, Ralph, who has never given a moment of his time or a cent of his money to any but his own selfish interest.
What does he mean?
He means you don't like you either.
And who I firmly believe will grow more selfish as the years go on.
I don't believe it.
I also leave the sum of $1, which I confidently expect he will keep.
Let me see that paper.
It's just as Mr. Baker wrote it, Mr.
If he were alive, I'd bring him into court.
To my dear granddaughter Jane.
Me? Why, but I thought...
To Jane, whose unselfish devotion brightened my last years, I leave my house and the remainder of my estate and my own eternal devotion. Signed, Daniel C. Baker, engineer, retired.
Jane gets everything? Are you sure? Are you sure that's what Gramp wrote, Lawyer Harvey?
He tricked us. He had the safe opened and changed his will.
Leading us to believe all this time...
We'll break the will. We'll break it.
I don't think I would do that, Mr. Ralph.
But, Lawyer Harvey, Gramp always told me...
It must have been one of Gramp's little jokes, Miss Jane.
Jokes? Harriet, we won't wait for that afternoon express. We'll take the noon local.
I shall consult my own lawyer as soon as I get home.
And I shall certainly consult mine.
They seem kind of upset.
Yeah, that dame was always upset.
Miss Jane, I'm glad it turned out this way. Oh, and now about the bonds. Oh, dear me, I don't seem to see them.
They fell out of the safe and Blackie picked them up. Didn't you, Blackie?
Huh? Oh, did I?
Come on, Blackie, come on.
Okay, there you are.
2, 6, 8, 9, 9.
There were 10. Weren't there, Blackie?
Yeah, 10. See, 10.
Oh, thanks. Thank you. I'll take care of these, Miss Jane, until the will is probated. Now, where did I leave my briefcase? Oh, yes, in the parlor. Excuse me?
Well, I guess we better shove off too, Jane. Get the car and bring it around front, Blackie.
Yeah, I filled the radiator early. Sure hope it ain't froze up.
You really have to go? I mean, the roads are still pretty bad.
We can get through to Kansas City.
Is that where you live?
No. Blackie and I don't live anywhere. I guess we're what you'd call rolling stones.
Don't you get tired rolling?
Oh, sure, once in a while, but you see, a stone hasn't much choice. Once it starts to go, it's hard to stop.
But the only way it can roll is downhill.
That's right. With a dull thud at the bottom, maybe. But I'm not kicking. Life isn't much fun if you know all the answers ahead of time.
You know, you're a lot like Gramp. He was a rolling stone, too, when he was young. But then he came here and stopped rolling. You see, there aren't any hills in Kansas.
Gramp was lucky. And maybe he wasn't traveling as fast as Blackie and me. I've been on the move ever since I was 14, just a punk kid starting off to be a big shot. But I didn't have enough ammunition.
Where did you start from?
Chicago. Instead of 2 elms in the front yard, we had a couple of sick geraniums on the fire escape. Yeah, and for a well to hollow down, we had an air shaft right outside the kitchen window. If you shouted down that, it answered you back in half a dozen different languages. No, there isn't much about a place like that to keep a kid at home. If I had a kid, I'd want him to have a house like this. Something he'd be proud of. That way he'd never want to take after his old man and start rolling.
Well, if you ever stop somewhere, will you let me know?
Why?
I'll write to you.
You mean that? On the level?
On the level. Will you?
Yeah, sure. Why not? If I get a chance, I might send you a postcard sometime.
I'll answer it, Tony.
That'll be swell. Only don't count on it too much. Maybe quite a while before I get around to it.
How long?
Might be 5 years.
Well, that's not so long.
The best thing you can do is to forget all about me. Forget I've ever been here.
Well, you'll be back this way.
No, it isn't likely. If I do, you'll be married to some nice farmer.
No, I'll be waiting.
If you have any sense, you won't be. There's Blackie. Well, goodbye. Good luck, Jane.
Goodbye.
Well, I'll get back to town, Jane. Who's that lady? Mr. Tone, Mr. Black?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry I didn't get to say goodbye. Nice boy.
Yes, they were.
Yeah, and see you tomorrow, Jane.
Goodbye, Lawyer Harvey.
Morning, Harvey.
Good morning, Sheriff. Anything wrong?
Yeah. We're looking for two fellas that ditched the police on the main road last night. Tony Barlow and Blackie Knight.
What are they wanted for?
Blackie's a safecracker. Ain't a safe made. He can't open.
And Mr. Tony Barlow?
He's a forger. He can write your name, and you'll swear on a stack of Bibles you wrote it yourself.
Ooh.
Have you seen a strange car go by, Harvey?
Why, no, I haven't, Sheriff.
Well, we'll get him. Turn around, George. So long, Harvey.
A safecracker and a forger. Grandpa always did pick the strangest friends.
Hello, Blackie.
Say, where you been, Tony?
Back having coffee with the brakeman.
Yeah, and I've been hiding like an ostrich ever since we ditched the car and hopped this rattler. How come the brakey's such a softy?
He's a crapshooter. On my last natural, using my dice, I won free and undisputed transportation to the end of his run.
Oh, where's that?
Albuquerque.
Oh, but that's where we come from yesterday. That's where we ditched the special officer.
Yeah, this train going back there seems almost like Providence, doesn't it?
Oh, there you go again. Come on, let's get off of here. Come on, we're slowing down.
You get off, Blackie. I'm going along to the end of the run.
Oh, are you nuts? You go back to Albuquerque and they'll grab you and pin 5 years on you.
That's not a lifetime. You can do a lot of things after that.
Such as what?
Oh, sit in the shade of an elm tree 100 years old, or holler down a well that'll answer your back.
Oh, I always knew you was nuts. Come on, Tony. Are you getting off or ain't you?
Nope, I'm staying on, Blackie. So long, and good luck.
No, doggone it.
Go on, jump, Blackie.
No, I can't do it.
Why not?
Can't you see your Providence dame is holding on to my coattails? You got me screwy, too.
You mean you're going to Albuquerque?
Oh, sure. Give me those dice. I ain't myself. I'm going to roll that brakey for a strong cup of coffee.
Well, Gramp, I hope you like the way we fixed things. Maybe it wasn't according to Hoyle, but you kind of messed things up pretty bad yourself, didn't you? Well, you couldn't help it. We all make mistakes. That's why we got to look for the hand of Providence to sort of clean things up for us. See what I mean? And, it's okay, Gramp? Okay. Okay, Gramp.
Thank you, Adrian Ames, James Cagney, Andy Devine, Priscilla Lane, Donald Meek, and Theodore Von Eltz for a swell Gulf Screen Guild show. Just a moment, ladies and gentlemen. James Cagney will return. But first, a word from John Conte.
Thank you, George Murphy. Ladies and gentlemen, most of us like to do a job right, even when it takes more time. But when you're lucky enough to have a job that can be done right without taking the slightest bit more time, or trouble either, then you certainly don't want to hesitate. And that's the way it is with your regular spring motor oil change. When you drive into your good Gulf dealers and ask for Gulf Pride motor oil, you can be sure that you're getting the job done right, because you're getting a motor oil that gives you the right kind of engine protection. Gulf Pride motor oil comes from a special kind of crude oil, 100% pure Pennsylvania. It's refined a special way by the patented Alchlor process. The result is a specially tough and durable lubricant, one that we honestly believe will save you money in the long run. So look for the Do It Now sign at your good Gulf dealers and change to Gulf Pride motor oil.
George Murphy.
Yes, Jim?
Speaking for myself and the members of tonight's cast, I'd like to say we're glad to contribute our services to the Motion Picture Relief Fund. These Sunday golf shows are making it possible for us to build a home for those members of the industry who can no longer provide for themselves.
Thank you, Jimmy. Speaking for the Gulf Oil Companies and the Gulf dealers, I'd like to say we think it's mighty fine of the actors, the directors, and the writers of Hollywood to contribute the money they would ordinarily receive for these broadcasts to such a worthy cause, the Motion Picture Relief Fund.
Who's going to be here next week, Georgie?
Oh, great show next week, Jim. It's a review starring Gary Cooper, Deanna Durbin, Patsy Kelly, and Park Your Carcass.
I'll be listening. Good night, everybody.
Good night, Jim, and thanks very much for coming. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, next week, same time, same station, the good Gulf dealer in your neighborhood joins the Gulf Oil Companies in welcoming you to another Screen Guild show with Gary Cooper, Deanna Durbin, Patsy Kelly, and Park Your Carcass. Till then, this is George Murphy saying thank you for the Gulf Oil Companies, for the motion picture industry. Good night.
We are grateful to MGM for George Murphy, to Warner Brothers for Priscilla Lane, who just completed Family Reunion, and for James Cagney, soon to be seen in Each Dawn I Die. To Universal Pictures for Andy Devine and Theodore Von Eltz, who is soon to be seen in The Sun Never Sets. Adrian Ames will soon be seen in Republic's All the Tomorrows. We are also grateful to 20th Century Fox for Donald Meek, who has just completed The Young Mr. Lincoln. The selection, Snug as a Bug in a Rug, is from the motion picture The Gracie Allen Murder Case. This is John Conte speaking for Gulf. This is the Columbia Broadcasting System.